Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Good morning, Jessica and Rami. And I'd like to introduce our guest today, Kate Collver. And I'm going to read her bio here for you so you can know about her. And Kate is a healer at heart and a caregiver for many. She has a sensitive appreciation for nature and all things beautiful. She has learned to dance to the rhythm of her own beat. She finds much joy in releasing healing through her Be Still sessions, an intuitive energy experience that releases a deep sense of self-love and purpose to the receiver. She is also a visual and a recording artist who has waited 58 years to be able to say that. Her artwork and music is inspired by her journey of self-discovery that has contained struggle, resistance, and rejection. And eventually she found that she was the one she was really looking for. And she enjoys times of quiet contemplation and connecting with the spirit for creation. Her passionate expression of life comes through various creative outlets as she continues to discover tools to remember her true essence, which is peace and wholeness. And her website is katecollver.com, and it's down below. And one more thing about her bio, she says she believes it's never too late, that each of us are miracles. And I really like that because just like you, Kate, you know my story, and I started late too. And it's never too late, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
And so, Kate, I'd just like for ourselves and our viewers, if you could share whatever of your story that you feel comfortable sharing, and so we can get to know you a little bit, and then we'll ask you more questions when we know more about you.
Sure. Well, I grew up in rural Ontario, so I'm just outside of Toronto, so big city, but we lived on a hobby farm about 22 miles out of the city. My parents were both performers. My mother was a singer. My father was a radio actor. And especially when it came to music, I always felt completely excluded. My mom had given up her career when we were young, and I felt we lived under a really heavy grief where it was always about the good old days when we didn't exist. So that just began my journey of self-discovery and just lots of painful resistance that I found really resisting who I am. I went down dark paths and struggled with mental health issues, addictive behaviors. And in my early 30s, sort of came to a place where I was like, okay, I give up. And at that point, I started a journey with the Christian God, and all of it's just keeps unfolding is what I find. Like it's just layers of remembering who I really am. And that's a bit of my journey.
Very nice. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. So that explains like how you started your inner journey and healing. When did you start your art and then your music, and what do you do with those today?
Well, I always was, my sanity came from creating. So I always had my hands in something, whether I was crocheting, making bracelets, beadwork. I think I drove my children quite crazy because I was constantly that I would escape into my own world when I did things like that. My artwork really was birthed from that. It was just, I'd be out in nature. I would start to draw. And I found that when I set an intention for other people's healing, and I allowed myself to carry some of their burdens and then draw those things out, I had seen a lot of healing release to people, which really it excited me. And I think when I was a little girl, I really wanted to sing. If I would think of what I wanted to be when I grew up, I wanted to sing and I wanted to be a mom. But it's interesting. That was as a little girl. And now I really want to be a healer who happens to sing and create and release that piece of divinity that I am to the world, to bring healing to hearts that are looking for who they are, remembering who they are. And I think my father, that was a message that he carried. And he really instilled in me, which was find yourself and be who you're meant to be. That was his direction. When you have parents that are entertainers, it's a different world than parents that went to work 9 to 5. I never understood that. I never saw that modeled. So that's kind of was my journey. Like I just was always looking for more of who I was and who I am, and remembering that who I am so that I can help others remember who they are.
That's beautiful, though, that your father told you that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What a big help. I mean, I know from my part, I guess my parents wanted me to find something I enjoyed or found fulfillment in, but it was also, to make a living. So that's always been the gear. It wasn't so much, what are you really passionate about? What
Mm-hmm.
do you do to express yourself, right? It was about survival, I
Right.
suppose.
And it does come with pain as well, because there's got to be a balance. And I think I was balanced the other way. And so I needed to come more into balance, because you can just be such a dreamer. And that has a whole other slew of things that comes with it.
So, but you use your healing now. Can you tell us more about how your healing, how you use that?
Yeah, several things. Well, I work as a caregiver. So I work 3 evenings for a lovely company in a town close to me. And I offer people that live in their own homes, I come and just look after them, care for them. So that's a piece of who I am. And I think that was instilled again from my father. Lovely things that you pick from different aspects. There were many different aspects to him, but I remember as a small child that we would go and visit an old girlfriend of his who had MS. My mom was okay with this. And he would go, and he had a beautiful voice. He would read to her and feed her. And I would sit and in those days, you couldn't go up in a hospital. You had to stay you had to be 12 or older to actually go and visit the patients. So I would sit in the lobby with my baby doll and a chocolate bar that he would buy me. And I remember just thinking, like, my dad was just a hero. Like, that part of him, that aspect of him, I loved. And I know that's a piece of me. So that's one way that I know I release healing. Another is I've been a certified reflexologist for a couple of decades. And I've been trained in Reiki as well. So what I've done is I've sort of married those two things together. I call them my Be Still sessions. So just a chance for people to stop, be still. And I've had responses that people have really felt a deep sense of self-love after the sessions, which I think is beautiful. I use tuning forks and different sound instruments. And then I have put together, so I do both Reiki and reflexology in these sessions. There's another place in a town close to me that on Wednesdays, I go every Wednesday and offer my services there. It's called Right to Heal. And the people are struggling with mental health and addictions. And so I go on Wednesdays and offer my services there. And, but I also do them from home as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like taking a modality and making it your own, right? Because the universe uses what each of us bring to the table, right? in
Right.
what we innately have or lean into, and uses that in I don't know, in wonderful ways, right?
So true. And I'm not sure if I learned this from you, but this is something that now I've brought into my Be Stills, because I've had several sessions with Carla and just really grown and loved our experience together, for sure. Felt that we cleared a lot of energy, which is beautiful. But I use my tuning forks as, like, I smudge with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I also use the tuning forks to bring the energy, source energy from above, and then mingle around the heart down. And then I bring the earth energy up and mingle and shoot it up. So I'm having a lot of fun, but it's just an intuitive approach. It's not that I have to do it a certain way.
Right. Right. Beautiful. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. I use the, usually it's the 528 fork as a smudge, you know, going around the corners of the room, or, you know, into the bookshelf or crevices, or it seems in the summer anyway, a big place that things, negative energy or stuffiness, right, resistance of some kind, collect is around the ceiling fan. It must be how the blades go or something. I don't know, but there's always denser space around the ceiling fan.
Nice.
And yeah. So yeah, and then in the winter it's in different places because of the wood burning stove, how it blows and things. But yeah, I like to use that. I've started using another smudge too. I had in my garden, I grow a lot of passion flower leaf. And I had read that passion flower, of course, physically, it has the compounds that for releasing nerve pain for people. A modern pharmaceutical was based on those properties. I can't remember the name of it right off, but it also has spiritual properties. And the spiritual property is a deeper connection with angels and with source, you know. And so from my garden, then I do the typical, the sage and the lavender I mix together, and then I wrap it in a couple passion flower leaves.
Nice.
And then use that as a smudge, so that not all, I guess it feels like it's adding light to cleanse as well as to fill with light after the cleanse, right?
Beautiful.
That's my.
I wish you lived closer and I could grab some of those from you.
Right, I'll send you some. I should send you some, Kate.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So very good. What do you guys think, Rami, Jessica? You have any?
About your combining your Reiki and reflexology?
Yeah.
I think it's great. I combine Reiki and hypnosis.
Nice, beautiful.
Yeah, it's easy to do because we're in trance anyway. And I love that. I love the Reiki energy. It feels so good. It helps me go down further. More relaxed. Yeah. So I really, really like it. And then you just don't know what will happen.
Yeah.
You know, healing, something more than I can. Well, I don't do anything, you know, but I mean, you know, it's not up to me. It's between source and your higher self, which we call in, or I call it in at least.
Right.
Yeah, I like combining it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I like that too. I had a session with Rami yesterday, and it was really nice. She had combined the two, and I had fallen asleep, and I woke up, and I didn't know if I had thought, well, maybe I woke up kind of suddenly. Maybe she had asked me a question.
Yeah.
But now I have to confess, I fell asleep one time when you and I had a session, and I remember you going, "Are you asleep?" And I was like, Actually, yes, but I think I faked. I wasn't.
That a
Yeah,
lot of,
sleep.
it happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, sleep
And
is good.
it is.
Sleep is good.
I just feel it, anytime that happens, it needed to happen to
Mhm.
clear what was meant to clear, right? To have that relaxing and releasing of resistance, so that
Right,
the clearing
exactly,
could happen
exactly.
more.
Well, and Carla really never had any Reiki sessions besides myself, and there was that I didn't know she fell asleep, but it's quiet because I could do it remotely. We don't even need to talk, and I could just send it, myself at home. But there was that lull, and I didn't tell her that there's a long lull. So it can be quiet for 10 minutes or 15 or whatever. So yeah, and then I told her, yeah. And it's really nice because it does release the resistance, because we all have it, just don't know what to expect. And do you really want to let it go? Who
Right.
are you? Yeah, who will you be if you don't have that challenge or that situation? But the Reiki will release the resistance, and then that's what I mean. You wake up and you do feel different, a little bit better, or different, that's for sure, and then go from there, because you never know what will happen. You can get a aha moment, or a nudge, or a whisper, or some kind of inspiration, and it doesn't always happen right after a session. It could be, the next day, but something will happen.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it.
What I often do to receive is when I go to bed, like right before I fall asleep, I rub my third eye and crown at the same time and spiral it into the universe, with that intention of asking for what I want.
Do you remember in the morning?
Oh yeah, yeah. Usually, often I wake up in the wee hours that same night with the answers, or sometimes it comes later. But yeah, I always remember. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I'm amazed so I've been taking this course. I can't think of her name, but she's pretty famous. The course is called Intention, Power of Intention. What's her name? She's from England. Anyway, she was just saying that when you intend, it's so important to really get specific on what you want. If you want a house, what color is the door? What color is the doorknob? Do you have curtains?
Lynn McTaggart?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just, I mean, as clear as you can get it, right? And then she was talking, this week we were talking about how everyone usually has doubts because you don't see what you're intending, and you're wondering, is this ever going to come true? And so then you doubt yourself. And then she said, especially about money, because, and this we can all relate to, I was thinking about money. She said, go back to a time when you really, really felt that, what you feel about money, that anxiety, that I don't have enough, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm thinking, I don't think I've felt that, but it was never, ever true. That woke me up. So all these years, I've been just telling that same old story. I don't have enough, because my mom told me that. My dad told me that. Their parents told them that. And I just was like, I got to change the story real quick, because it's not true. And all the time, you just get into that rabbit hole and you just go back down to what you know, right? And when I realized that, oh my God, I've never been on the street. I've never been the bag lady. I've never had to hold a cup out. where did I get all that? And it was just eye-opening. And so I really enjoyed that session the other day. So, as they say, be careful what you tell yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Kate, I was wondering how you started your reflexology first, correct?
Yes.
And then you added the other in. Did the clients that you were seeing and the people that you attracted change, or were they open to you adding new kind of modalities into what you did? How did that transition work?
They were open, but for a couple of years, or for a few years, I really shut down the reflexology. I didn't do any. So, and when I started things up, the combination just worked really well. And it really was what I saw people needed, was to learn to be still. And now this was my father too. The journey is inward. And it's like interesting now, because even the songs I sing, I'm like, I'm just singing out my beliefs. The journey is inward. And so that whole idea of taking people into this place of quietness and contemplation and just feeling energy and love, game changer. And I think that's for all of us. And I love that, because we all need to be doing these modalities sort of on a regular basis. So,
Right. Could you play your music, Kate? We had talked about that earlier.
I sure can.
Give us a little clip
I'll
of it.
play a little, yes. And that's really sweet. So that was a place where I felt like, you talk about wounds, where you have a wound. So it was all to do with being a musician. So I have taken vocal coaching for 2 years. When I was 58, I went into studio and I recorded 2 original songs, and then I stopped. But those songs were because I had put my kids through so much on this journey, and it was really songs for them, like basically forgive me, So I released those 2 songs in when I was 58. So that's like 4 years ago. And then even then, you change. And I'm like, no, they signed up for that. It's their beautiful journey. And so much for me, because I did things that you would say, oh my goodness, what was she thinking? And what I've done with myself is I've learned to soften the gaze and loosen the grip on my story and allow the energy to flow through and heal, and see it as this beautiful, sacred journey that I agreed to before I ever came to planet Earth. And it's just unfolding. And as soon as I was able to embrace what others and what I would have judged myself very harshly as that's so messed up, when I did that, it's like everything started to just come together, and everything just, so I did the same with my kids' story. I'm like, no, they signed up for it. So the song that I released at 58 would be very different from the songs I would release now. Mm-hmm. And I had this vocal coach, and we would meet, I think it was every other week. This has been for 2 years, that we never sang together. She just listened to me tell my story. And she was like, you don't see yourself as a leader, and you don't see yourself as a musician, but you are. And it was like, so in April of this year, she had her, or it was in May, she had her recital. So it was me and all these little 10-year-olds. And honestly, I really never sang with her. But in the meantime, I'd formed a little band. And so our band came, and we opened with 3 of my originals. And it was like, you know what? I felt that I was home. Like, it was like, were you nervous? I wasn't nervous. It's just a full circle, and it's releasing hope. It's releasing healing. it's awakening. Like my songs are like dream a new dream, remember who you are, you know, and it's like I get to just be me. So I think I found me. So yes, I would love to play one of my songs. I hope you can hear it well. This one is called, and these are just rough drafts from when we were in rehearsal. Nothing is professionally done. This one is called Dive Deep. And that's what I believe. So here you go. Can you hear it okay?
Yes.
He's got the corner office, they say he's made it big. A Tesla and some old jazz tunes. He buries every emotion with each phone call in motion. He can't stop him now, there's always more to do. The stars are singing a song to her. She dances to the rhythm of the moon. She stilled the chatter and dove inside to find she always held the truth. Dive deep inside you like treasures. Dive deep and you will find your way. Dive deep, yeah. You're powerful co-creator. You're powerful, yeah. He has panic attacks every day around noon. His pressure is off the charts. He says he wants to change, but he don't know how. He can't catch his breath, there's always something to do. The stars, they're singing a song to you. Come and dance to the rhythm of the moon. Or still your chatter and dive inside, 'cause you've always carried the truth. Dive deep inside you like treasures. Dive deep and you will find your way. Dive deep, yeah. You're a powerful co-creator. You're powerful, yeah. Dive deep inside you like treasures. Dive deep and you will find your way. Dive deep, yeah. You're a powerful co-creator. You're powerful, yeah. You are powerful, yeah. So powerful, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Dive deep.
Thank you. One of my babies. I'm like, oh, 62. I'm like, you know what? I'm just like, it's never too late.
No.
And I just sing that out for everyone. It's, you know, it's never too late. You've got a dream in your heart. And it's just a piece of who I am. But you know what? It's a piece that I needed to release. And I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to do that. As soon as I loosened the grip and softened the gaze on that story of mine and allowed the energy to really flow, the spirit to flow through it all, then it all made sense. And it's like,
I love the part about the stars were singing to you and dance with the rhythm of the moon. That's what I'm trying to do, right?
Right. I think that's where we'll all go back to that, right? Just the beauty of nature, and yeah, it's beautiful when you're really opened to expand. And I know with you, with your tree energy, and I used to, and I would take these things to Christian leaders, and I think they would think I'd lost it, but I'd be like, you know what, this flower is talking to me, and it's got this whole story, and I'd become one with it. And then I would just draw my interpretation of it, which many might think is doodling, and whatever it is, it's my expression. And there would be a whole story attached to these flowers. And it was like, it just continued to expand and grow. And then you just find your way out of things you've believed and into truth that is who we all are. We are all one. And that's just a beautiful journey of remembering. And I said, you know what, if I can get through, I know that I can help others get through as well. So when I go to places and I see people in the lies that they've believed, I'm like, just let me put my hands on you and let me, and that's just my heart's desire, is that we are all waking up and remembering our own magnificence.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful. Lovely. I also liked, because when I had gone to your website a few months ago, that you offer a download of one of your drawings as
Yes.
like a coloring page.
Mhm.
That was
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
And I put my business, I've really had it almost silent, like the art and things it's probably been 2 years. I'm just now going to relaunch some things, but I just needed to do more deep diving. I walked through a difficult season with a young person that I adore, and totally necessary for me. It awoken something else in me, but very painful journey. So I sort of haven't, when you're in a business, you have to market, and I haven't been doing that, but I feel that that's going to shift and change in this next season. Even with that, remembering that this is his beautiful sacred journey, and that all things are working for good, and loosening the grip and allowing spirit to move through that. Not so much of my white and black, right and wrong way of seeing things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know I do that. I can't speak for everyone, but so often it's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I'm working in the garden, I guess that's a form of black and white. It's the get her done mode.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Versus the gratitude for what I'm getting, or the connection with the earth and the plants as they work.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
To try to
You
find
remember the
balance.
beautiful session? I don't know if you remember this, Carla, but we had a session, and this is kind of how I do life, or have done life. I really enjoy the miraculous. I really enjoy things that are supernatural. And one of the sessions you and I had, we'd had a week. So as I recall, you'd say sort of prep in that week to what do you feel that the spirit is bringing to you? It was about mothers, as I recall. And I'd had a dear friend whose mother I adored. And I'd gotten a text just before our session that she was gravely ill in hospice. And I remember coming into the session, and she was a total mother figure to me, this woman. And I remember saying, I bet you she's going to pass over during our session. And I'd gotten that text that indeed she had gone just when I knew it was all about mothers. And this beautiful mother transitioned onto her next part of her journey during our session. And I remember just being like, oh, I just love those confirmations that you're on track.
Right. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, I remember that for sure. And that wasn't the only synchronistic thing about that session. There was a couple other things that
there's a couple of others, and there's just been so many. So that's kind of how I flow. I love that. And that's actually what got me even expanding. One of the things was my father and my Mennonite babysitter popped through from a realm this is years ago. And I was like, well, I don't know what that's all about. And I remember taking it to a pastor at the time, and they're like, oh dear, what have we got here? But, you know, just knowing that there's all these realms, and that it's like, you know, that death really isn't what we think it is. Energy never dies. So,
Right.
It's all beautiful.
It is. It is beautiful. Yeah.
Kate, I was wondering, did you paint the pictures behind you? Are those yours or are those somebody else?
Those are mine. Yeah, this is my final here. This is
wondered.
One of my biggies. There's my other. Yeah, I've done a lot like that. So I literally, it's totally intuitive. Like I just really don't think, but I just flow. And I always have a person or a people group or somebody that that I'm just holding space for, is how I would say it now. I wouldn't have said it quite like that a few years ago, but just holding space for people. Actually, this is one that I did where I saw a beautiful result. This is my dancing star.
Yeah.
And I did this a number of years ago when we were in a parade in Toronto, and there was a guy who was there with his shirt undone and cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and he was dancing up a storm. And it was a Christian event, and the organizers were not too excited about him being in the circle. And I really got a mother's heart for this person, which is how I would be. And I went home and I would feel this burden, and then I would pray, and then I draw, and then I framed it and I spoke to that picture, and I would say, be free. And years later, I went to and this is part of my beautiful sacred journey, and I regret none of it, but Joyce Meyer's conference, I just loved her, and I still do love her. And I remember the lights went down and the lights came on and the worship started, and there was my dancing star. And he was dancing the whole perimeter of the building. And I just wept and wept and wept. So I just being aware of others, just being open and just allowing the spirit to flow. And yes.
Have you ever had anyone, or do you do this already, where if somebody wants you to paint something or draw something for them, and you just have a meeting with them, speak with them, and then just intuitively make a piece for them?
I definitely have drawn for people. I've never had commissioned work where people have asked for that, but that sounds like a beautiful idea.
I think
it does. Cool. Oh, I think so too.
Over it, and I just it showed me so much about the power of creation and how powerful we are, all of us, to create and to bring healing to this earth. So my dancing star is still up on the wall, and it's like, you know, I have different views possibly than I did then, but it's all beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. When Jessica was asking that, I thought, oh, wow. I'm going to have to talk with her about a trade here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people would love that.
Sessions for a painting or a drawing. Oh, that's
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. To be able to just talk to you and tell you their story. You know, it's a healing thing too, right? Because they're releasing a lot of stuff, and then they know that in the next month or 2 months or however long it's going to be, you're going to make this creation about them and what that story interpreted for you. I think that would be a really neat thing.
Beautiful.
Well, and it's kind of like an ongoing intention, right? Hanging on the wall, knowing that as the artist, your
energy,
your love is continuing being given and received by the person to empower, right? To feel loved, and, or, you know, when you really need that, you can look at the picture and receive it again and again. Yeah.
Nice. That's a beautiful idea.
Yeah,
I love that, because that's exactly what I did. As the spirit led me, that picture hung for, it was 3 or 4 years till I saw him. And I would just say, be free, you know, and it was like, I would feel how I felt when I was doing it. I wasn't burdened by it. You know, it wasn't like I would tend to get burdened and get, you know, but I've learned to release a lot of that. But anyways, that was my, my experience with my drawing. And I was like, oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Energy, love, intention. So there you go. Beautiful intention, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Awesome. Wow. I'm just still kind of thinking of that. It just feels so good.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like your song, right? Your not just that song, but as a recording artist, right? Your song goes on forever, doing as it's recorded, right? For people to re-listen to and receive from over and over, and so does your art.
Interesting. And I remember my mother, who was not wired the same as me. I would have been more wired like my father. But my mother was more practical and, oh, you know, what is going on with these two? But I can remember her saying, and this is just very cool, because if you knew my mother, very practical, and would not be interested too much in miraculous, supernatural, mystical living. And yet I've learned so much about the life now from her, as we are one. And she literally comes when I sing, like, it's like she's right there. It's like so beautiful. But she said to me out of the blue, this is years ago, what do you think happens to energy when you die, when you leave? And it's like, and I've realized that death is an illusion. She's very much alive and very much aware of things that she wasn't aware of here. And I say she makes the best backup singer ever. She had a song that she did that she was kind of known for it. So she had a show for the CBC, which is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, that was across Canada. And she had a signature song, which was On a Clear Day. And I felt on the 14th of May, a release for her. Literally gave me the song in the spirit and said, no, this song is for you. And the words would blow you away. They blow you away. I'm like, wow. And I just, one take, I could play that. I could send that to you, but this literally is the first take. It just, and I funkified it and totally changed what the song is, but the words are unbelievable. It's like, oh, just so divine and so perfectly timed. I was like, it's magnificent. So, and I was like, that was a gift. It was the anniversary, 7th year anniversary of her death. She died on Mother's Day. And it was like, you know what, this song's for you. And I went and looked it up and I thought, I never really liked the song. And then I just started just in this funky kind of bluesy jazz tone. And I was like, and the words were just exactly what we're talking about, just unfolding. I was like, wow. And I'm like, my mom, I'm so proud of my mom.
That is so awesome.
Yes.
Oh.
You know, I've heard recently just a little take on death that I hadn't heard before, and that's you know, a lot of us experience, and I've watched this in a couple people's lives recently where, you know, a lot of people experience a loved one passing before they wanted them to or felt was correct in this life. But then what if that person knew their spirit or their higher self knew that they needed to die to be able to help their loved one or their family member more or in a different way? Because, you know, when we're in these physical bodies, even though a lot of us are, I think, aware of a lot of the supernatural or you know, otherworldly things, we're still limited by these physical bodies, and we still have thoughts and doubts and things like that. So I think a lot of it seems to be that, you know, some people might pass early or earlier than we'd like them to, because they know, their higher self knows that they need to help a family member or loved one, and they can do it better from a different perspective. So, and I've seen that recently in a couple people who've lost loved ones, and now their lives are just lit up and they are on fire and passionate, and it takes that, of course they're going through the pain, right? But it's also inspired, and it's like that person's father, that person's mother, that person's, you know, husband, husband or whatever is helping them from the other side. So anyway, just a different, I just thought of that when you mentioned that.
And I see in my work in ancestral clearing that yes, I see times when the relative is a help, right? And that's what they're trying to do. And really, I think part of that's their responsibility, I guess, if you could, not in a drudgery way. But what I find is that if the person, the ancestor, the one that died, would, because most people that I found don't go into heaven or the oneness, as I call it, right away. It's like most people go into what I call the waiting place, where they stay around us. Some of them stay there for millennia, and they often need our help, the living descendants' help, through love and energy to provide that for them. But if they focus on getting themselves into the oneness first, then their help for their loved ones can be from the mindset of God, right? The mindset of love and joy, of no lack, no feeling of coercion or force or discouragement, right? Whereas if you stay in the waiting place and have not transmuted yet into the next realm, then your mindset perhaps, well, I know it improves as you go if you're working your story, working your inner healing after you die, then that mindset continues to improve and improve, but it's still layered with the stuck energy within us, which changes our mindset from the mindset of source to the mindset of what I call hierarchy or lack or coercion. And so if the ancestors can go on and then from there help us, it's much more powerful than if they tried to stay in this realm to help.
So cool.
And some of them don't know that. I mean, it's part of the waiting place is to learn what you need to learn, and some of them want to help their loved ones so much that they haven't yet learned or don't yet grasp the idea of the mindset change to be more of a help. So I don't know. It's I can't say, I don't think any of us can, that we know or understand how the whole of life really is, right? but it is so intricate and integrative and beautiful, right? How this creation, for lack of a better word, is, yeah, it's just really awesome when we can stop and think of it all. Makes me tear up.
Yes.
Hey, Kate, I was wondering, you can say no if you don't feel like it or don't want to, but I was wondering if you could do a short little one of your Be Still sessions for us. I mean, for us. I don't know if you've done it virtually before, but
You know what?
Ricky is virtual, right?
Yes, I haven't, but I'm always open to new challenges. A big piece for me is music, and I'm not sure that I have access to music. But why don't I find something, and we'll do that for a few minutes.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. You find whatever you need to do your work.
Yes.
Exciting.
It is. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I don't have my tuning forks either, but I do have some music.
I can add the tuning forks from my end.
Oh yes, why don't you?
Okay.
Yes, I usually have some chimes and things like that. I don't have any of that handy, and I love to put my hands on people, but I'll send my energy through just like that, as long as you just, and I'll put this music on. This is actually called my Be Still.
What do you want me to use, a weighted fork or a
what can you do, a 528?
Oh yes, hang on, I'll get it.
And I'll just put this on.
I was going to say, this is a unique kind of band that's starting up here. Carla doing the tuning forks, and
right.
I know. I'm going
starting a band.
I'm going to. There we go. Oh wait. I'm going to have to also change my speaker.
That's okay. Can you hear the music? Mm-hmm. And as I look down at this piece of paper, all I have on it, I see flow, no force, let go of control, and create. So there's what we're going to do. So that's beautiful. And if you just sort of close your eyes, put your hands on your heart. And I just encourage you, we're just going to do 3 of these big breaths. So we're going to breathe from the source energy above us, just seeing a big white light above your head. It's just this endless stream of creative spirit energy, and just breathe that in and allow your belly to expand. And then just shooting that breath down your legs and allowing roots to grow from the bottom of your feet, just rooted and grounded into that beautiful earth. And now we're going to do it reverse. We're going to pull from the earth, a big belly breath from the earth, that light green energy. Allow your belly to expand, And those two energies to just flow around your heart, the light, the white, and the green, soft energy of the earth. And now shoot that energy out the top of your head, out into the cosmos. And again, let's take some energy, like beautiful energy from above. Breathe it in, allow it to dance around your heart, into your belly, and then let's bring it, shoot it down, that breath down your legs and into the earth. Just feeling rooted and grounded and secure now as you pull from the earth that beautiful soft green energy up your legs, your belly, dancing around your beautiful hearts as you shoot it out the top, the crown of your head. And one more time, let's pull from that energy above. Big breath. Touching your and allowing it to come down your legs and into the earth. And just seeing along the root growing, you're protected, you're loved, you're secure. And now let's pull again from that beautiful soft green earth energy, the crystals, the earth, just pulling it in, dancing around your heart, swirling around your heart as you shoot that beautiful energy out into the cosmos. Just feel such a beautiful feeling of oneness. I feel like I'm right there with each one of you. And let's just take our hands together and rub the hands together. It's such a beautiful way to activate the heart. honor you. I honor you all. I honor each one of you in your beautiful sacred journey of remembering. As we grow and expand together. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Kate.
Canada and the USA, we both just had our birthdays. Ours is July the 1st and you're the 4th. So there you go.
Yeah, well, cool. Well, thank you. This was wonderful.
Guess I can get rid of this. Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We usually end the session or the podcast around, by the time it gets to an hour. So that's a wonderful, wonderful way to end it. Kate, if you would have something, if you'd want to tell people how to contact you or things like that.
Well, my website is katecollver.com, and I am on Facebook and Instagram, and they're both under just my name, Kate Collver. So, and my email is katemcollver@gmail.com. So those are easy ways to get in touch.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll just say goodbye for now. Thank you all for watching too.
It's beautiful. Thank you, ladies.
Mary as well.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Bless you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.